We've been keeping a close eye on Marshall County as their numbers have risen. And today, leaders in Madison County have what happened in, Wayne Farms in mind as April 30th is quickly approaching. Our Sydney Stallworth has the latest.
Those things can easily happen anywhere. And that is what we have to be vigilant for as we go back to work.
Madison County leaders say they're doing their best to make sure we're not next on the list, starting with the next phase in addressing the virus, containment.
Isolating the person who's sick as well as any of their contacts who might get sick.
And social distancing, sanitizing, and masking are still in place.
If we let up this next week, I believe that it could set us back for another couple of weeks.
People are counting down the days until April 30th when Alabama's stay-at-home order expires, but COVID-19 still poses a big risk. If people start going back to work soon, there are some major changes they might see.
Things like taking temperatures when people go back to work.
In county buildings, masks will be worn and citizens will be required to clean their hands when entering.
Monitor the number of people in each building to maintain and reduce occupancy to ensure social distancing. Plexiglass is being installed in high traffic areas to protect both residents and employees.
Governor Ivey mentioned testing more people would give her a better idea of when to reopen the state's economy, but that's just not an option right now.
They just don't have enough test kits to be able to understand what the disease penetration is in the population.
Madison County's PPE is in good supply, but officials are conserving as much as they can in case of a spike.
It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen, and we've got to be prepared. And I can assure you that the mayor of Huntsville, the mayor of Madison, and myself are already preparing for the next disaster.
Putting the Valley first, Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.